Hi, Amy. Happy last night we watched Before the 90 Days, Season 7, Episode 6. Cat buttocks. My goodness. That was quite a show. Thank you, Scott. Wow. Full frontal, backle nudity
Tobacco.
right at the get-go. This is not that kind of show.
No,
We do not show cat butts.
No.
Although we do celebrate them from time to time.
Stop it.
And today, you're not telling me to stop it, are you?
No, it's hard of the cat.
Okay. Today, our bonus content covers The Other Way, Season 6, Episode 14. So let's get on with tonight's lunacy, beginning with, of course, Tiger Lily and Adnan. Well, it is time for the honeymoon for this lovely couple. They only have 3 days
Has
left.
ended before it starts.
What? What? How dare you? They're getting along so well. They're having such a wonderful time because they love each other so much and know each other so well.
And the culture.
And the cultures go together like peanut butter and jelly. Come on. Yeah, so they only have 3 days left. I didn't realize it was going quite so quickly. I guess I forgot. Tiger Lily's only there for a week.
Seems like it.
Seems like it's just a week. So she's going back to the US very soon. And lo and behold, the couple is fighting. How can this be? Maybe it's because Tiger Lily takes an inordinate amount of time to get ready. They wake up at 2:00 in the afternoon, the day after their big wedding ceremony.
And which, to be fair, I mean, it was a big event.
Yes.
So, I mean, 2 p.m. is a little late, but
A little. Especially if you know you have plans to drive, what was it, 4 or 5 hours to Petra the next day? You can't set an alarm, get ready earlier, or maybe cut your routine in half, because it seems like it takes her 3 to 4 hours to get ready, and this drives Adnan up the wall.
I would too. Excuse me. I would too if I look like that after 4 hours of work.
Yeah, that is a whole topic unto itself. But I don't want to get petty right at the outset of the show. Let's overlook that. Okay. Let's be bigger people. So let's look at how Tiger Lily is dealing with this new situation that she's in, where her husband is seemingly very short on temper, which of course is new to her because she barely knows him at all. She only just met him a couple of days ago. And yes, he does seem to be trying to control her quite a bit. Didn't see that coming. Nope. What do you do?
It's like the Nicole Mahmoud thing all over again. Like, what do you mean I have to change? Sorry, I feel like I'm jumping a little.
It is a little bit like that. He does expect her to change and she expects him to change. Neither one of them, of course, has discussed this in advance of them getting married. So their expectations, of course, are not being met. And both of them are equally frustrated, and he's getting incredibly angry. And then Tiger Lily has to dress according to her husband's rules, which again is something new to her. All brand new. What did you make of the brother stepping in to chastise Tiger Lily for showing too much cleavage?
No, not your place. Not your place. But then they both gang up on her. When in Jordan, do what the Jordans do. Yes, but we all know that Tiger Lily did absolutely no research on this.
No.
And, Adnan did not tell her any of this beforehand. Why would they communicate? Why anything?
No. Well, he just assumes because he comes from a culture where he, as a man, goes unquestioned throughout his entire life, especially when it comes to women and the women in his family, and in particular, the women that he gets married to, who have to obey him no matter what he says. So why would he think that this was a conversation that was necessary to have with Tiger Lily? But on her part, why didn't she? I mean, we've said this in every single show so far. Why didn't she do a little bit of research to find out what the culture was like so that she would know what to expect? No. All that matters is that he's got abs. That's all she cares about.
The abs are not the most comfortable thing to lay on. So, like, I don't understand the allure of it. Personal preference. I guess it's also personal preference to know or to do the research of places that you're going to before you go there, and researching the culture of the person that you were planning on marrying. Oh, I said it out loud. I did.
My God. But that is just such a wild, wild proposition to make. To research the culture of the person you're marrying? Who does that?
Why?
Indeed. Why? And whom would make such a silly mistake as to figure out what the culture is like of their intended, beloved fiance?
No.
No. No, 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 no.
No, it's conflict all the way.
Oh, we love the conflict because this is juicy. And what's even juicier is the friends, her stylist people, whatever they are, saying that being passive is not like Tiger Lily. So they see her being so passive and so demure and so quiet whenever Adnan wants her to do something and she obeys his rules. But they say that's not her. That's not really what Tiger Lily is like. She's acting this part with this incredibly controlling man so that she can, wait for it, be in a relationship with an incredibly controlling man when she just got out of a marriage with an incredibly controlling man. Huh? Oh, my head hurts. I think I'm sweating. Okay. So she's starting to revolt against the rules, and it's just so ironic that she chose this traditionally Islamic man in a Middle Eastern country to be her new non-controlling husband. Like, way to go, Tiger Lily. Way to repeat the cycle all over again. Bring you back to familiar ground. Repeat your past mistakes. Well done.
You have learned nothing.
I give her a 10 out of 10 for her success in marrying her ex-husband all over again.
Well, we don't know too much about her ex-husband, but arguably Adnan is worse because he's also, 22?
Yes. Yes.
At least the other guy was older and he had an absurd amount of money and enough intelligence to get to where he was in his business. And Adnan's a model.
He may be a very intelligent model. We don't know this yet because we also have not researched. We don't know that much about Adnan.
There's not much about him online.
Shame on us. Shame on us, Amy.
If anyone can find his LinkedIn, could someone send it to us, please?
Yes, please. We would like to know what schools he attended, what degrees he has, and how many Nobel Peace Prizes he's been nominated for.
At 22.
At 20.
And I mean, I have to say it, but I don't think her ex-husband had any peace prizes. Nobel Peace.
Didn't he? Are you sure?
No, I am not. How dare you call me up on that? But I'm pretty sure.
Okay, let's go to the next day when they actually are in Petra. And now there's a striking and very dramatic difference in the way that Adnan is allowed to interact with female people and the way that, I was going to say Shekinah. Wow.
The ones we do not discuss?
The ones we do not discuss. And the way that Tiger Lily is allowed to interact with people of the male persuasion. So she objects. There's a double standard. He's allowed to touch the hand and shake the hand of a woman. She is not allowed to do that with a man. So she gets very mad in front of everybody, which I think compounds Adnan's frustration because not only is he supposed to control her and be the one who tells her what to do and she's supposed to follow his rules, but now she's not behaving according to his rules in front of other people, which brings even more shame upon him.
So then he gets physically aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see the way that he held her arm?
Yeah.
I think that's a foreshadow.
Could be.
Or an indication of what's to come. Is that not what a foreshadow is? Did I not just provide the definition to the word I just said?
That's okay. We're on the right track because he is acting like somebody who's been completely disrespected intentionally And that's my problem, is that he's not taking into consideration that she comes from a different culture where men and women sometimes, not always, but a lot of the times are try to be on equal footing with each other. And so if you're allowed to touch the hand of a man, then he's allowed to touch the hand of a woman. There's really nothing wrong with that. So because he gets so upset, because he's in her face, and as you pointed out, a little bit aggressive with the physical touch, and because she has acted out this way in front of not just him, but his family members and their friends, neither one of them feels respected, which is a big, big mess. Again, if she'd taken the time to figure out what would be expected of her, culturally speaking, in this situation, we might have been talking about something a little bit different.
Yeah, I think it's going to get really messy. I think it's going to get really messy. And I think him being so aggressive in front of everyone is very indicative of how aggressive he may be in the future. And that kind of scares me for her. And I worry about what's going to come out. Because we've seen what has happened in the past with American women who marry into or marry Muslim men. And it hasn't been good.
We've seen some successful cases. I really can't remember the name, but the woman who became Muslim, she was American, and he's from, don't even remember where, Egypt, I want to say maybe, and he's a doctor, and she moved there, and they have a really successful relationship, and she's completely adapted to the Muslim lifestyle, and they seem very happy, and she's quite intelligent too.
That was super, super early on in the season.
Yeah. I want to say season 3 or 4, long time ago.
Very, very
Swiss
early.
cheese, can't remember names, so forgive me. But
yeah,
so not to put a totally negative spin on this, but I think that given who these two people are, which is to say that they are both extremely self-absorbed and possibly narcissistic, definitely exhibiting narcissistic behaviors, we're going to have some messy things to see in the future between them. I will add one caveat, though.
Go on.
If Adnan, thank you, if he moves to the US, I predict that he will adapt very well and will conform to the American model, which is a more equal type marriage partnership. No? Shake your head. Okay, you disagree. Tell me more. I want to know. No. He's set in his ways.
I think that he will absorb the American culture in his male egotistical ways. Bless you.
Bless you. Bless you, Scotch.
No, that was Butters.
Bless you, Butters.
I don't know, how do you tell the difference when they sneeze? But anyway, so yeah, I think he's going to absorb it.
Yeah.
Absorb the American culture. He's going to be a complete chauvinist, and things aren't going to work out for Tiger Lily.
Interesting. Well, we have plenty more episodes to go, so let's see what happens.
Can't believe it's only episodes.
Only 6. I think we're getting a little bit confused just because the other way is ending and this one is still just starting. So it brings us into this weird muddled ground where we don't know if we're ahead of the game or behind. And
it's a weird overlap. Yeah.
And there are so many couples that were on this particular episode of the show. We had, you were mentioning 6.
Can't believe that there were 6.
Yeah. So that's a lot.
I got so confused. Okay.
Shall we move on to the next couple, or would you like to further discuss the lovely Tiger Lily?
Well, no, I don't. I don't want to move on to the next one either.
You have no choice. It is why we're here, after all. I mean,
okay, so
let's do it. Renee and Chitty. She starts off by talking about how in love she is, soulmates, blah, 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 vomit. Okay. So then she wants to take him to the doctor because he hasn't had anybody check his eyes in a very long time. And it seems like she's actually hopeful that she can somehow cure his blindness by doing this. But then I thought, but wouldn't that kill her love vibe? Because she said before that his blindness was a turn on for her and they wouldn't be together unless he was blind.
That's what brought them together.
Yeah. So
I was actually really surprised that she pushed for it.
I thought the only reason she was pushing for it was because it's kind of like a God complex where she thinks that she can cure him and that she can deliver him, restore his eyesight by bringing him to a doctor. And it's all preordained, of course. So she does bring him to the doctor, but I really don't like the attitude that she's got around all of this, because it feels to me like she's toying with his emotions and his hopes of getting some of his eyesight back. Obviously not all of it, but even if he got some back, I'm sure he would be elated. But I'm really not surprised, given that she seems to think that she's in touch with these otherworldly forces that could magically heal Chitty's condition. If she wants that to happen, because she ultimately seems to feel like she's in control of all of these otherworldly forces that are working strangely in the background of everybody's lives. Cuckoo. And the doctor diagnoses cataracts for one eye and then talks about him having glaucoma. But the way that they filmed this and the choice of the sound, like the soundtrack that was going on in the background, it was very ominous. It made me feel like, are they trying to tell us this glaucoma diagnosis is new? Because it's not. Chitty explained that that's what he had way back at the beginning when he told us about the apple and the blindness. It's the whole story. So why is this such an ominous moment? Oh, you have glaucoma. What? Does he only have weeks to live? Like what? It was one of those kind of things.
A new sound engineer.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Yeah. Sometimes the sound choices in this show are a little bit dubious. Anyway, the doctor prescribes medication to help with the buildup of pressure in Chitty's eyes, which may prevent him from losing an eye entirely. I hadn't realized that was a possibility, so that was new information. Good to know. And Renee is very, very smug throughout the entire visit.
She's smug throughout the entire season thus far.
Yeah, and it only gets worse. Throughout their segment, her smugness grows exponentially. There's the scene where they're having a meal at Victoria, Chitty's sister's house. And I absolutely love this. I think I'm going to take notes for the next time that I go and visit my mother-in-law. Renee does absolutely nothing to help Chitty's sister make the meal, prepare for the meal, set the table, do anything. She's such a bad house guest. So it comes as no surprise to me that Renee feels like she's getting weird vibes from Victoria, because of course she is. I would be giving off those weird vibes too if I was the host in a house and my house guest was not even lifting a finger or asking.
But where
may
are
I help?
Bad vibes coming from, really?
Well,
is it not coming from her? And then the sisters are responding to said vibes.
That is a very sound argument, and I would argue that the bad vibes are actually coming from aliens from outer space, because they're trying to call this woman back to her spaceship. Yeah. Okay, yeah, no, absolutely. She's giving off very bad vibes. We already said before, she's got this preordained prophecy, self-fulfilling prophecy that the sister isn't going to like her. And so Renee, of course, is seeing that wherever she looks. Never mind the fact that she's not being helpful, not being courteous and kind and nice to Victoria.
Kind or considerate in any capacity.
No check marks in any of those boxes. So yeah, it doesn't improve Victoria's perception or her assessment of Renee at all when she finds out that Renee can't even cook and does not cook. And in fact, Renee says that what she does at home is she just reheats prepackaged, pre-made food.
Yikes. And then she nitpicks or like pecks, like her chickens, peck at the food. And then the husband, the brother-in-law, I guess, is just, do you want something else? Do you want some? No, this is fine. So then she makes it all awkward for everyone. It was just awful to watch.
She was very rude about the food. Like, the least you could do is say, it tastes great, even if you don't enjoy it. This is great. Thank you so much for making it for me. But you can see how much she dislikes the food. She's not hiding anything. She doesn't care to. She has no social awareness whatsoever. I don't know. Anyway, we have this quite awkward scene where Renee asks Victoria why she looks so angry. which makes things even more tense.
Why would you call out your possible future sister-in-law after you just met her during a meal that she has prepared for you, being so completely ungrateful, quite literally picking a fight?
Yeah.
And Chidi has said this before, that she picks fights.
Hello, Lion.
And she is fairly aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And this is her displaying that exact behavior during this meal. And it was so uncomfortable. And I was so glad when his sister got up and left.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Aside from her kicking her out, what else is she going to do?
Yeah. It was the only response that Victoria could make, I think, without escalating the situation to a point where somebody would have to physically leave the house. And that person being Renee, of course. Yeah, and she had her son on her hip, so it was like perfect. I have to go look after the baby, so excuse me, kind of thing. Perfect.
But even when Renee was making those awful comments, like you could see the kid also, as he's shoving food in his mouth, he also looked so done with her. Like, what's wrong with you?
Even the baby's fed up.
Yeah. Even I wouldn't do that to my mom.
Well, Chidi made a comment to the camera after this scene, which I thought was great because it seemed like he was finally waking up to Renee's true character. And then the next day, the paranoia, Renee's paranoia gets so bad.
Oh my gosh.
She seems like she's on such a high horse, and she talks about how disrespectful Chidi's family has been towards her. So because of that, she wants to go stay in a hotel and she wants Chidi to come with her.
Because she can't control the situation.
Yes. That was very clear that she really, really wants to control Chidi. She wants to control what he's doing and how he's acting towards her. And she doesn't feel like she has that kind of control when Victoria is still there. Victoria is obviously a very strong influence in Chidi's life. And of course, the other strong influence in Chidi's life is God, his faith. And so I think she also wants to take that away from him in order to fully indoctrinate Chidi and have total control over him. When she asks Chidi if he'll join her at the hotel and he hesitates, she then moves into trying to guilt him into staying with her. She talks about how far she's traveled, how much money she's spent, how much effort she's made.
With how much money she spent.
Yes.
And she also cuts him off with the hey.
Oh, I know.
You do not talk to me that way.
She lists this huge litany of things that she's sacrificed in order to come and be with him and how they are destined to be together. It was awful. She tells him to shut up when he tries to talk. She gets so nasty. She tries to force him to comply with her will, which is to take him away from his sister. She talks over him. She silences him. She puts words in his mouth. He says several times, no, that's not what I said. That's not what I meant. She says she's far beyond his little beliefs, and that she's on a different spiritual plane. Where's your plane going, madam? I don't think
aliens spiritual, because I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that.
She's above all of the spirituality. She's on a different spiritual plane. We cannot understand it as mere mortals who only have mere educations in our history to fall back on. Wow. Not only is this classic abuse, but it's also classic delusion. I really felt in this moment, Renee is not a stable person.
She's out to lunch. That's what she is.
The way that she thinks about how she knows more than anybody else about the universe and how everything works and how everything is ordained to be, so on. Maybe she needs some professional help, or maybe she just needs some good nutrition because she's eating some really, really crappy food and she just needs to eat some real food that she prepares herself, that comes out of the ground, that's real, that's not from a box. Maybe. I don't know. There's something wrong.
Vitamin deficiencies can display themselves in such a way.
Can they?
Not a doctor.
Because it really feels to me like she's got some crazy shit going on.
I don't know. Her behavior is just so strange.
That is very, very polite. Well done. I'm going to give you 5 stars for politeness tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. It's nothing at
Okay.
all. Really.
Now,
Let's go. Let's go. Okay, Lauren and Faith. So, Mr. Gonorrhea has his medication. Yay. And he's still smiling like nothing's wrong. Mr. Gonorrhea. He's still smiling like nothing's wrong. His hotel room, wow, it was gross. It looks like he's a bit of a slob. There was crap all over the place. Does he not even clean up after himself? Disgusting.
Nope.
And he's rethinking is this real? He's rethinking his desire for an open relationship. Okay, maybe he's rethinking it. Maybe I'll believe that part. But as to whether he or not he is capable of being monogamous, that's another question. No.
No, and he also says that he's going to try to convince her, which is not his business. It's a yes or no.
Yeah. No.
It is not. His approach is not, let's have a discussion and see if it works for us, which is what you should do in a relationship to see if it's mutually beneficial. Now, he wants to try to convince her because it's what works for him.
But he says he realizes that given her response to her finding out that he was cheating. Oh my gosh, I'm having so much problem with my pronouns tonight. He was cheating. She found out. So she was having so much trouble with that, which means probably she will not accept an open relationship. At least he's smart enough to make those 2 points add up together. It makes sense. One follows very nicely with the other. You don't appreciate cheating, you probably won't appreciate an open relationship. So he knows. Talking about this with Faith is not going to be a happy conversation. It's not going to go well. And speaking of Faith, she's been spending quite a bit of time on her own, but with her friends who have all come to Manila to meet Lauren, but they're not, in fact, meeting him at this point. And it's so sad because she doesn't want to tell them what's been happening. It's embarrassing. But eventually she does crack open and says he's been cheating. He has an STD. And just like everybody else in the universe, except for Lauren, they're upset that he cheated on Faith. Yep. No surprise. That's
it reminds me so much of Sean and Aaliyah, because remember after they got engaged, he was like, I'm going to have to tell her that I've been sleeping with other people and or, we're going to have to close off the relationship. Whereas she always thought that they were monogamous, whereas he hasn't been. So at least this is, at least use that term loosely, at least it's early. So now Faith can get out, I guess, more unscathed than but anyway, 2 different couples, but it reminded me so much of the Sean and Aaliyah thing. That was just so gross.
Well, Faith does say that she's heartbroken over learning that Lauren has been unfaithful to her, and what's even more sad is that her worst fears are coming true. Remember at the beginning she said the thing that worried her the most was that Lauren wasn't going to turn out to be the man that he has portrayed himself to be throughout their online relationship. And lo and behold, no, he is not. He is probably the complete opposite of what he portrayed himself to be. So she's really having a hard time dealing with all of that. She says she doesn't know if she can forgive Lauren, but she's actually willing to sit down and talk to him about things, which I think is very big of her. I think a lot of people would have been running for the hills at this point, saying, screw you, don't come back. But yeah, that's how they ended.
I think it's that sunken time cost fallacy thing again.
Oh, that thing bites people in the butt all the time, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Just cut your losses and move on, people. I know it's not easy, but sometimes that's really the best thing to do.
And again, easier said than done because it's not our relationships, right?
Yeah. Do we want to talk a little bit about Lauren's kids and the issue of child support? Because that does come up a lot.
I don't, but I think we should. He has, this has come up a lot on social media, is people, and I also believe this, they believe that he wants to go to the Philippines so that he can, is that the right word? Evade his child support responsibilities. And I believe that completely.
Totally. I think there are 2 parts to how he's managing not paying child support, because we know he is not. That part,
one is him not having a job,
exactly.
or at least a consistent job for them to garnish.
Mhm.
And 2 is for him to piece the F out of the States.
Right. And go live off
luck
of
finding
another
me.
woman.
Yeah. Good luck finding me. Good luck garnishing anyone from
The Philippines. You
the-
can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy is really next level below worm scum.
But the kids are better off without him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard question to answer because, well, it's not even a question. It's a hard statement to refute because they do need a father figure, but no, he is not a good one.
He's not.
No.
I would much prefer for those kids to, I mean, it sucks to grow up without a father. Arguably, I'm not going to say but, arguably, this guy is not a good positive role model for them in any capacity.
No.
So I think it's just best that he leave.
Yeah, but I'm sure the mother of his children would prefer if he leaves while giving her a sufficient sum of money that she can continue to look after their children.
That he helped create.
Yes, but keep them at a level of comfort that is acceptable because, as I understand it, they are living quite impoverished lives. Okay, rant over. Let's move on.
One
No,
last thing.
we're not moving on.
He needs to do the absolute bare minimum.
Oh.
And he's not even doing that.
No, for nothing.
Supporting his kids.
Not even.
Okay, I just needed to clarify that.
Yep.
Okay, now we can move on.
Thank you. Niles and Matilda. Niles arrives in Ghana. Well done. Matilda is so excited. She's already talking about breaking her abstinence promise. Well, actually, it's their abstinence promise because they made it to one another that they were going to wait. They're so cute at the airport. I really like that. I felt that they were both genuinely happy to see each other. Oh, and they were genuinely happy with what the other looked like because this is the first time that they're getting together. Niles wants to tell Matilda right away, like this night when he arrives, about not wanting to get married on this trip, which we know we've seen him put that off a couple of times. But as he's having dinner with Matilda and her brother, which, by the way, what did you think of this Ghanaian plate of mixed meat, seafood, and snails?
Okay, first of all, I would be delighted. However, him being on the spectrum, I was really surprised that he was totally fine with it. Because even with my ADHD, I have a lot of texture issues and food avoidance issues. So the fact that he was able to eat it, I was very surprised. Good for him. Good for him. It looked delicious. I'm glad he enjoyed it. Now I must try it. I know. When they brought it out and he was bringing that snail up to his mouth, I'm like, B is going to not enjoy this at all.
No, I'm sorry. I would fail miserably at being polite if somebody tried to serve that to me. I can't.
It was a big snail.
It was huge. It's the biggest freaking snail I've seen in my life. It was like a
the
sea
biggest
serpent
edible snail I've ever seen.
Unbelievable. But amazing. So great for him that he just takes it all. He goes for it.
And he loved it.
He loves it. He says how he loves it. And I think it's so beautiful that we have this example of somebody who's considerate, who embraces the culture, who's polite, who's enthusiastic, and doesn't do any of this America comparison. Well, in America, we blah, 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 blah. Not this, Anyway.
He could have pulled the whole Nicole thing where he's like, I only want to eat French fries.
And he didn't. It was beautiful.
No.
But there was a point that I was trying to make at the beginning of all of this. Oh, right. So he doesn't want to get married. He wants to tell her that they're not going to be married. When they're eating this interesting plate of food, the brother says to him that Matilda has a quick temper. And immediately when Niles hears that, he gives up the idea of telling her the truth about the wedding,
And he was like, what temper?
Yeah.
I haven't seen this temper.
No, dear.
But you know that he's aware of it because that's why he said before in the past, I haven't brought it up to her because I'm afraid of how she's going to react. And that is said temper.
Yes. So I have a feeling that we're going to get to the end of this season of The Other Way. Is it The Other Way? No, it's not. It's whatever it is we're watching now. We're going to get to the end of the season.
It is The Other Way.
No, is it? I don't know where I
Yeah.
am anymore. Anyway,
Season 7, episode 6 of The Other Way.
this is before the 90 days. Am I completely losing my mind? Okay, this is before the 90 days. People,
No.
hold on.
My notes are wrong.
Amy, are you still with us?
No.
This is
No.
before
You're
the
right.
90 days.
It is before.
Okay,
It is before.
good.
Okay. I apologize, everyone. That was awful.
We
See, and then now we're both like, where are we? Who are we? What do we do?
Well, I'm feeling a little bit stressed because I have 4 cats, one of whom is wandering around in circles underneath me going row, row, row. So it's a little bit like there's a fire truck at my feet. Okay. Quick temper. What's going on? Oh, yes. So at the end of this season, my prediction is that they're going to get married because Niles will never, ever screw up the courage to tell the Batilda that it's not on.
Okay, I'm gonna jump. So with the forecast for next week,
Yeah.
she says that there's a 200-person wedding that she's already planned. How is he gonna get out of this? He can't.
No, it's getting
can't.
worse by the minute. He gets the thing about the temper from the brother. He's going to get the added pressure of all of these guests and all of the preparations that are already underway. The people are already coming to the wedding. He's not going to be able to say no. Why am I smiling? That's not funny. It's not funny. Okay, so when they go to their hotel room, this part was funny. And they get into bed and they're like, oh, nothing's going to happen. And they put all the pillows in between them. And then she asks for a kiss. And so
and then she pounces him.
Jumps on him.
Quite literally pounces on him.
I mean, I'm sure he's going to have fun, but in that moment, I was like, oh, poor Niles.
No, I think he loved it. I think he loved the entire thing.
Okay, never mind. Shall we move on?
Yes, please.
Now that we know who we are, where we are, and what we're saying. Hopefully.
It was even in my title. I wrote it down that it was The Other Way. I wrote it down in my diary earlier that day. She made a really funny joke. It was an Anchorman quote. Anyway, let's continue.
Brian and Ingrid.
How is she even remotely intimate with him?
She's not. What are you talking about? Ew. Yuck. What? When? How? Did I close my eyes?
When they get to the little spa thing, she's sitting on his lap and they're kissing in the pool. I'm talking intimacy, not sex.
Yes, but I just didn't feel like those moments were particularly intimate. I mean, yes, she was sitting on his lap, but I don't get the vibe from her yet that she's into him. So to me, when she was getting off him, she made this funny expression on her face when she was getting off his lap. And then the pool stuff, I admit, maybe I closed my eyes a little bit, so I didn't see it. But anyway.
Did we watch the same?
We did, indeed. I want her to run away right away without asking any further questions. Just get out. Because he clearly has an agenda now, right? He's trying to woo her. He's taking her to this resort that's super romantic. And, okay, he's spinning a new narrative that she's going to swallow hook, line, and sinker, which is complete baloney.
I don't believe any of it. I don't believe a damn word that comes out of his mouth. I was so irritated that he was speaking, that he had these alligator tears and, oh no, you heard all about the bad stuff, but you didn't let me tell you about the good stuff, and became a better person through all of this, and cry for me, to be sad for me, and now I found rugby, and
tell me how
now
I'm a
great person.
I don't think I'm quite getting how you really feel about Brian. Could you elaborate just a little bit further? So, yeah, this story that he spins for her, obviously there's some truth from it, within it. There is truth about it. But the way that he spins this yarn, where he casts himself as the hero, the trusty hero who overcomes these great,
who comes up from the ashes.
Yes, he overcomes great difficulty and horrible circumstances and turns it around and brings joy to all the people that he encounters along the way and inspires
All
everyone.
the people.
All the people. They're so happy, and he cries and she cries. And then I went, oh shit, she bought it. She bought it.
And there was no gift involved.
She bought it.
It was the gift of lies. The gift of misconception.
I want to cry. I want to cry for Ingrid. Because this is pathetic. He's a bad man.
I don't buy it. I really hope that she's just playing it up for the cameras. Because as we know, production likes to do their thing.
But I don't buy it either. Let's not buy anything from this man, ever. Did you hear that he goes around suing places that aren't compliant with accessibility? That's how he makes his money? Oh, Jesus.
I'm half and half on that one because,
Okay, yes.
I've been very, very involved in accessibility issues and human rights.
But to personally profit from it, like, I can understand you go around and you sue the appropriate places that aren't doing the right thing in order to make places, their stores or facilities accessible. But then you return the money.
You donate.
Exactly. You return the money to a wheelchair something. Or, I don't know, just any charity that has something to do with a disability. You don't personally profit from it.
I agree with that.
Okay. Thank you. Let's move on before steam starts coming out of my ears. Sunny and Vaya. Okay.
I don't know if I was just like super irritated today, which I was. This was just so irritating.
Yeah, I guess it was a bit irritating. I was irritated by the 777 plan. I thought that it was really silly. And of course, she's going to forget, and Roy's just going to be sitting by the luggage claim forever, waiting for this stupid text so he can leave the building.
Why couldn't he just go to his hotel?
Yeah. I don't know. Why? I mean, is Sunny really going to be paying enough attention to the crowds around Vea and not looking at her to recognize Rory if he happens to see him in the background somewhere? Come on. Anyway. It was a little bit irritating, yes. And also irritating was the fact that Vea says that she feels like she's starting her new relationship with a lie. Well, guess what, Vea? You did. You are. It is happening. That's
several.
Irritating. Yeah. And you know he's not going to like this, not only because you're holding it as a secret, but also because of the person that's involved, whom he does not like. Brilliant. Okay. Then they get to the hotel. Sunny has made this beautiful meal for Vea. Home cooked.
That he has spent hours on.
Home cooked meal. And she turns her nose up at it because, and this just took the cake for me. She hasn't even tried curry before in her life. She has zero curiosity about his culture. So she's not going to go and try his food. Even while she's in the States, she could try some. But she's definitely not going to try it there. Does this sound familiar at all?
She says, I appreciate it, but I don't want it.
She does not even taste it. She does not even try it. The least you could do is try, and then if you don't like it, say, I'm sorry, this isn't to my liking. I'm not.
Twice in one episode, and you know how I feel about the food.
I know. It's a travesty.
You don't put it in your mouth. How are you supposed to know what the flavors are going to be? I mean, yeah, there are very specific things that I will probably only try once.
But you try.
Yes.
You try them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You don't be rude. You try the food. Then if you don't like it, at least you've acknowledged the work that has gone into it, the love that has gone into the food, the time, etc. And you move on. But in this instance, she ends up hurting Sunny's feelings, and good for him. He chokes it down. He says, okay, I'll just keep going.
I'll eat it.
I'll take that one, and then I'm going to do the bedroom. And he goes and he puts the rose petals, does the candles, makes it all super romantic.
But he doesn't trim the wick.
Oh, come on now. That's nitpicky. He does a beautiful job.
Fire hazard. I mean, it did look beautiful. The lighting was beautiful. I haven't seen it on 90 Day yet, but I'm like, that's a fire hazard. You know how I am about safety as well.
Okay. Okay, safety liver girl. Let's acknowledge the wicks, and let's make a public service announcement for trimming our candle wicks.
Yes.
Later.
And also putting them on a plate or something to hold the wax, because, oh my God, she was in the shower for so long. I don't blame him for not blowing out the candles, because that would have like ended the entire evening. You know, she comes out, candles are done, whatever. But instead he waits
Mhm.
and he waits
Mhm.
and he waits.
And meanwhile, the candles drip all over the furniture. Are they going to have to pay some kind of damage bill at this hotel? Because they're ruining the
That's
finish on the wooden side tables that the candles were on.
my brain was just screaming, liability.
Oh, God. Anyway, she goes to bed. They go to bed. The secret has not been disclosed. Candles do, thankfully, get blown out. Are you satisfied? No. That look says no. Okay, let's go on. So next week, new couple, which I think means that we're about to lose one of our current couples.
Who do you think it's going to be?
Oh, well, it's either going to be Chitty and the crazy lady,
Or Cheaty?
Chitty and Chicken Lady. I think they might go. Or, I want to say Brian and Ingrid, but that's just a desire. It's a hope. I don't think it's real. Oh, it's going to be Mr. Gonorrhea and Faith. Yeah, one of those two.
That's my vote. Sorry,
Okay.
Scotch.
Okay.
You're on my note.
And next week, Brian and Ingrid, they haven't yet slept together, which is good news. Yay. But he's definitely putting the pressure on. So, okay. Matilda talks about the details of the wedding with Niles, and he realizes, as previously mentioned, that it's now or never.
He's too far gone. He's not gonna pull the plug. That's my prediction.
Okay. Nice. Adnan actually apologizes to Tiger Lily. This is progress. And that's an evil laugh. It's a really evil laugh.
I was laughing at your face.
Okay, thanks.
Now it's even weirder, but you were sticking your tongue in the corner of your mouth like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I just do that when I'm skeptical. Okay, Lauren reveals more disgusting details of his cheating on Faith. Oh my God, why does he have to talk more about it? Ooh, what was that? Sound like a whip.
I don't know, but a cat is making
This sounded like somebody cracked a whip. Good Lord. Somebody's found your dominatrix toolbox.
Well, I appreciate that, but I don't have one.
All right. The last couple next week is Renee and Chitty. So Renee's going to start showing her delusional state to everybody. It's on full display, and it looks like she's going to get kicked out or is going to vacate on her own terms. All right. Let's move to the bonus content. I think this is going to be a little bit easier to take.
Okay, so now we move on to the other way.
Yes, and this is the other way. The other way. Okay, not before the 90 days. Season 6, episode.
Sorry for the confusion.
14. Let's just pretend it never happened.
Season 6, episode 14. Yes,
correct. Dempsey and Statler. I did not write down a lot here because I just feel like we're repeating the same thing over and over, and it's getting kind of boring. But I did like the fact that Dempsey questioned whether or not this is one of the biggest, or should I say worst, decisions that she's ever made in her life. Definitely. Yes, that's the answer.
100. Yeah. 100. Sorry.
And even though they've made up from their last fight that they had on the boat, I have absolutely no doubt that we're going to get into another fight very, very soon.
As you do.
As they do every 5 minutes. They go to Paris. Lovely. I'm so jealous that they're in the city of light, city of love.
And the first thing they do is get a caricature.
I know. I'm like, why? What? Don't you want to have a croissant or go have a glass of wine?
Be like going to Portugal and not getting a nata.
Like that. Oh, no. That is illegal. Very bad form. Yeah, I don't understand why they think that getting a character done is not only the first thing they want to do, but the best thing that they've done in Paris so far. Huh?
And it's so touristy.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not against it. I did one when I was at Canada's Wonderland in Toronto. but that's a touristy thing to do at an amusement park. Why would that be the first thing that you do when you go to Paris? Paris. Why not get a baguette with some cheese?
Yes.
Like, of all the things. But I mean, to be fair, I think this moment was actually fairly nice. Just the, they seem to appreciate each other so much more in that moment.
Yeah.
I thought that the artist was actually quite funny. He really played into the whole situation. But in the end, the only thing I wrote down was incompatible.
Yeah, that sums it up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sick of them.
Totally.
I'm really, really sick of them.
Ditto. The one thing that I wrote down was when they're talking together about how Dempsey hopes that one day she's going to marry Statler, and she says in about a year's time. I'm like, okay, this is weird, because when we first met them on Before the 90 Days, was it Before the 90 Days? I don't know, whatever. Statler was the one who desperately wanted to marry Dempsey, and Dempsey was like, hey, what? Wait a second. I barely know you yet. Hang on. Let's hold off a little bit on jumping off the deep end. So their roles have reversed, because Statler's talking about wanting a longer engagement, like 2 or 3 years, and Dempsey's saying, oh, maybe a year.
Again, incompatible.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, next incompatible couple, Josh and Lily.
How would Josh feel if he knew that Lily was texting his brother about their conflict?
It seems like both Josh and Lily use brother, whose name is Jared, as a kind of a counselor. Would you stop chewing on my... I'm sorry, I have a cat chewing on the arm of on the boom mic, whatever it's called. Please stop. Continue.
I thought you were going to yell at me for this, but
No.
it's on a clicky pen.
No.
Really don't think that you should be using a third party to continuously facilitate the communication within your relationship. I think that makes Jared very uncomfortable. And I think that really shows that, I mean, we've said this before. I'm just slap my...
You just want your microphone. I'm going to get rid of this cat because she's just causing way too many troubles.
So we're having a lot of cat trouble.
The technical issues tonight are just piling up.
Sorry, everyone. But I think putting him in the middle of everything is just so uncomfortable. And I also found that, especially so obviously Jared gets there, they have to move the bed, blah, blah, blah. And then they go out for this lovely evening. And as they're driving around, I found that both Josh and Lily are using very strong language. You always do this.
Yep.
Always. It's always like finite. And then Josh pulls out the most magnificently uncomfortable sentence that I've heard in a very long time.
Thanks for ruining Jared's night.
His first night. And they haven't even gotten to their destination of the night market. And I was so excited to see the food that they were going to be eating. And I'm like, how dare you ruin this for me? What is wrong with you? And also, like, how uncomfortable for everyone in the car except for you.
Yeah.
Because now you're like, oh, it's Lily's fault. Because she always does this.
Yeah.
I'm also sick of this couple, even though this was the couple that I was the most excited about. The second that he opened his mouth and started talking, I was like, shoot.
Yeah. This was an awful, awful scene. Jared was visibly cringing in the backseat of the car as the couple argued with each other and tried to get him on their side for their respective point that they were trying to make.
And he was so good with not saying anything.
Yeah.
Unlike Adnan's brother.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. At least there wasn't that,
if we're going to cross-contaminate at this point.
Yeah, no. I totally get it. Josh was so toxic in the way that he was speaking to Lily. I really had a hard time listening to both of them. She wasn't great. He was awful. They really need help to communicate respectfully to each other, because they just can't stop this vicious cycle that they're in of constantly blaming each other and hurting each other and lashing out at each other and doing it over and over. It's
And neither
bad.
one takes the blame for anything. At no point
No,
are they blame.
no,
I'm sorry that I had said that. Oh no. Oh no. They just, you do this. You do this. Always.
always do this. You
Always.
always do this. You never do that. Yeah, it's very, very, very detrimental, defeating. It's gonna die. Hello,
Yeah.
I have another cat. I'm gonna try to ignore the cats, and so that we can get through the rest of this.
It's okay. It's going to be very short.
Right. So Corona and Inky,
I'm just going to summarize this.
go summarize away.
Black people aren't supposed to do this, and that is quoting Corona. That summarizes basically her entire season.
Yeah. So she thinks that Inky, as a Viking, is supposed to like cold water, and she, as a black person, is not supposed to like cold water. Okay, whatever. This is just an opportunity for her to be predictably and overly dramatic, which she is. Then they go and they have a real talk, quote unquote, in the hot tub about the reality of Corona not being able to pursue her dream of becoming a midwife.
And she complains that he's being so lackadaisical about it. But I'm like, if this was real, it might be a thing. But we all know that it's not, because you claim you're a planner. So if you plan a damn thing, you would have applied by now. You would have already known all this. But we all know that this is a massive facade. This relationship is absolute BS. I don't care. I don't care.
Well said. I don't care either. I'm really tired of his platitudes. I mean, it was kind of fun at the beginning when he was so cool and calm about absolutely everything. But if I have to hear, you can do anything you want, or it's only difficult if you think it's difficult one more time, I think I'm going to hurl. Come on.
I think he just didn't know what to say because he was only in it.
No. Yeah, they didn't. Obviously, they didn't sit down and clearly define what each other's roles were going to be in this fake relationship. So he always takes the side of, oh, I'm just going to be affable and accepting. And she's going to be dramatic and overwhelming. But it doesn't really work. It's a one-trick pony, and people aren't like that in real life. So that's another reason why it's not believable, and why neither one of us can really take any more of these guys. Yeah. We didn't.
I'm just irritated.
Yeah, me too. The irritation is the word of the day. Sean and Joanne didn't make an appearance this week, nor did James and Natalia, and Shekinah and Sarper did, but no thank you. Any final thoughts?
No, I think I'm good.
Excellent.
You?
Yeah. Before we go, if you're enjoying the 90 Day Fiancé Honestly podcast, please subscribe to or give our show a follow. And if you have an additional moment, please rate us and help other 90 Day fans to find our show. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next week.